Welcome to today's episode of Becca's Breakdown on the Everything HR podcast. Today, we're diving into the world of job hunting from the perspective of candidates, applicants, and interviewees to the recruiters and companies. We'll explore the evolving landscape of recruiting, including how AI software is reshaping the screening process, making it more efficient for recruiters, but sometimes frustrating for applicants. Whether you're on the job hunt or hiring, this episode is packed with insights to navigate the challenges and opportunities in today's hiring process. What's up, Becca? How are you?
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah.
Um, I know that the the topic of job hunt, just the topic alone, is so hot right now. I think it's just as hot as politics right now in this country.
You know what? I think you're right. I mean, I don't know about as hot, but it's definitely something that is on people's minds because it's tough. I definitely get that it's tough. And there's a lot of reasons why it's tough. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's the generation, it's the people, blah, 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 things are soft. But there's really a lot to it. Like it's definitely a multifaceted situation. So yeah, I'd love for you to kick us off. What are your kind of first thoughts when it comes to the topic?
I mean, if we aren't sticking to like first, second, third, then I'm gonna be all over the place, giving you fair warning. But just off the top of my head, oh my gosh, some of these recruitment sites, the job posting boards,
Mm,
that's what they're called.
yeah.
I hate them.
I would say that's why there's so much that we can talk about because there's so much stuff going on.
There's so much. And the reason, okay, so the reason why I hate these job posting boards is because some of these jobs will say that they are hiring immediately.
Mm,
You've seen this on like
yep.
LinkedIn has it, right? And which LinkedIn buck wild right now. But we can come back to
Buck
that because
wild.
it's somewhat related. But but yeah, on LinkedIn you'll see these jobs that say hiring immediately.
hmm
You apply, you make sure that your resume fits the bill. You don't hear nothing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we know that we don't always get feedback when we apply for a job. We
Yep.
all know this. We would like it, whatever. Doesn't always happen. However, these same jobs will still be posted months for months. And what I don't understand is that when you apply to a job through LinkedIn, the like the easy apply ones that are
hmm
just applications through LinkedIn, they're not external sites. They will also show that your they'll show your job applications listings, like the history of what you've applied to. You've seen that?
Yes, I have.
So you can go check and it'll say your application has been viewed. Or someone's taking a look, like it'll give you specifications. Months later, I thought you were hiring immediately. Like what is going on? Nope. I don't know what's going on. And it's not just LinkedIn. Okay, I'm not just calling out LinkedIn or it's not necessarily LinkedIn, it's those who post on LinkedIn. But there are multiple companies who have this issue. They are not staying on top of their recruiting. And it's extremely frustrating for those of us who are applying to positions. Um let's see. Maximus.
Oh wow, you're about to name
I
drop,
am
huh?
name dropping
So
today.
today is gonna be a name
Yeah.
drop day.
And
Got
you
it.
know how I am. Normally um I avoid name dropping, but it's not company slander. It's that it's there. You know, it's I'm not saying anything that's incorrect. Maximus is also another one. Apply. I think I have an application sitting in Maximus right now that is a year old.
Yep.
That says under review.
Yep.
That is wild. And it's not even for like a major role. That is just wild to me. What is going on, HR? It, you know, the name dropping is one thing, but essentially, what does it come down to? The human resource department, your recruiters. What is going on their end? Because is the CEO for large companies taking a look at applicants? No,
No.
no, unless it's their personal assistant, and probably still not. like, like you're not. if you're not staying on top of your recruitment, it doesn't exactly encourage people to keep trying to get into your doors. And then companies are complaining that they don't have enough people wanting to work,
Mm,
and it's this endless cycle of just garbage.
yeah.
And
I totally get what you're saying. And my wife saw me on my phone here for a second, and it was not that I was ignoring her at all.
no, it threw me off because I was like, "Oh, someone else is talking, and it's not my husband."
Yeah. Sorry, my YouTube popped up.
Yeah, I can't edit that out. But
No worries. But so one of the things that's coming up right now are phantom job posts.
ugh,
And what that is, there's a few reasons for it.
it's just to fit criteria. It's a tax break.
Well, that's one reason.
It's bullkaki.
Another reason is it develops a talent pool. So it helps you whenever you do have to make a quick fill or a quick hire, you're able to already pull from a list of pre-existing positions. Another one is benchmarking, seeing, what exactly it looks like for people to apply. You start to really dial down for when it comes to big organizations. You really focus on the process itself. And kind of creating an illusion of growth, which I don't agree with that one. That one I definitely don't agree with at all. Mainly just because
It,
if you are pretending that you're more successful than you are in order to
it's a
get
scam.
people in, that's kind of what it is,
It's a
right?
scam. It's
Like
fudging numbers.
exactly, like it's lying, it's fudging the numbers. It's not necessarily doing the right thing because it's the right thing. You're looking for a specific outcome.
Yeah.
And so I disagree with that. I disagree for posting phantom positions for a, tax break, like we've said. I do like the idea of having it specifically for a talent pool, but there is a right and a wrong way to do it. When
Hmm.
you're developing a talent pool, which for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's basically just having a list of applicants or people that might be willing to work for your company, and that's really it. You kind of have
Hmm.
them, I don't want to say on the back burner, but that's kind of what it is.
I still don't agree with that, but it was covered in the Chris Nevins podcast for Raising
Yeah.
Canes.
And the right way to do it is you say it up front. You don't say, I have an open position for you right now. You say, we have these positions that are typically always open throughout the year, or they open very frequently or infrequently. I can't tell you when the next position is open, but I really appreciate you coming in and doing the interview or, like whatever. But basically, you have that upfront conversation, letting them know that I don't currently have an open position, but if one opens up, I would like to consider you. And then it's in the applicant's hand. They can tell you, yes, I would like to be considered. Please send me an email, give me a call if a position opens up, or no. And I'm not going to waste my time on an interview. I'm not going to take any extra time looking at your company. Like, you know what
I
I mean?
have
Like,
mixed
there's,
feelings about it because I'm in a pool right now with Google.
yeah, but that's not a bad thing.
It's not, but at the same time, I'm a very emotional, unstable person.
Well, then say no. Then
No,
say I'm
I
no longer
want the
interested.
dang job.
Well, then that's what it comes down to. They can't magically, like, a company is limited, right? There's always a limiting factor, whether it be the amount of money they make, whether it be the clients that they have, whether it be the services that they need at the time. Like, it's why companies are all different sizes, different shapes. They have different HR, departments. They have different operations. It's because they're all tailored to their specific niche. So you can't just necessarily say, I mean, let me rephrase. You can absolutely say that you hate the situation and you want to change it, but at the same time, you're also a part of it, and it is semi benefiting you because you now have someone that you were able to contact in Google, and isn't that alone a benefit?
I mean, to a degree, yes.
Well, there you go. Then this is an
Yes.
improvement from previously where you had zero connections in there. So like I said, I don't want to say it's all in the perspective, but it really is. Like it really is just however you view it.
For that though, not the whole like scamming numbers and whatnot.
Well, no. Scamming numbers, I disagree
Yeah,
with. Doing it
fudging
just for
numbers.
taxes, I disagree with. Like I definitely think that there's a right and wrong way to do business. But when it comes to developing a talent pool, I think there's a right way to do it. When it comes to reaching out to people and saying like, "Hey, Here's an example. We had this in the military. It was called a hot fill. Basically, we have a list of deployments, and sometimes things just happen and you need people boots on ground very quickly. So the Navy has a list of reservists, and then of that list of reservists, they have that list that specifically focuses on ones who want to deploy.
Well, here's the thing, because many people will say that the civilian side is just like that. Um, that's not what most people are signing up for, nor do they know that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like when
that's
you're
why.
signing up for the military, you're given clear choices.
No, it's an option to be on this list. It's not forced. Like you asked to be on this list. It's
So that's
just like
what I'm saying. Like you asked
but
for
that's
it.
a talent pool. That's the
Some
right
places
way.
don't openly tell you
I
like, hey, you're gonna
agree.
be put in a talent pool.
I agree, and I think they should. Like I said, that's the right way to do it. There's a right and wrong way to do everything.
Mm.
The right way to do it is you tell them up front, "Hey, I don't have an open position right now, but I like your resume. I like your moxie, right? I like your googliness. I want
Yeah.
I want to still consider you for future roles. Can I put you in this list?" Or, I'm saying, like, however you want to word it, however you want to put it in the email, but like it's a very clear understanding. I don't have something for you right now, but if something comes up, I would like to refer to you. Can I? And that's it. And then you then as the applicant or as the candidate can make your decision of no, I don't want to. If there's an open position that I'm interested in, I will directly apply and then I'll reach out to you. Or you say, yes, thank you very much. And then you put it in the back of your mind. Because that's what a talent pool is. It's a non-priority. And as long as you view it like that, it's really something that's happening without your focus, right? Someone else, like the ball is now in their court. So you
Mm.
can focus on your own thing, apply to your own jobs, look at your own, business that you want to handle, and someone else is focusing on potentially hiring you, or at least if they see an open position that you meet the criteria for, they're able to reach out to you.
That'll be something I have to seriously consider, like the mindset on.
Yeah.
You know, because that's essentially reshaping my mentality about all of that. Um, okay, so because we're talking about the whole job search and everything that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing are the scammers, the legit, like the actual scammers, not just
Yeah.
like these big corporate, but these scammers are getting wild.
Yeah.
Like you've got fake companies, and it's nothing new. You remember a couple years back, I
Mm-hmm.
got messed up
Yeah.
because I applied to this job. Well, I applied to multiple jobs, and then what I thought was a company that I applied for reached out via text, no phone call, no video call. They were strictly text, and they were like, "We're gonna send you a check to get all your electronic equipment," because I was
Mm-hmm.
looking into IT stuff,
Yep.
and they were like, "We're gonna send you a check. You need to go get the supplies that you need." They even gave me a supply list, and they said, "Go to your local Best Buy." Um, well, when I got checked, they wanted to make sure they were really on, like, keeping track of this check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So throughout the day, I think maybe every 30 minutes, I was getting a text message. Did it arrive yet? Did it arrive? Did the check arrive yet? And when it finally arrived, I was like, all right, it arrived. And they were like, instead of going to Best Buy, go to your bank and deposit it into your bank account. Okay. Because me, dumb me, doesn't pick up on these red flags. And the whole time that I'm like going through this, I'm still asking, like, when am I going to sign my documents, the I-9? And they're like, we'll eventually get to that. So I go to the bank, I deposit the check. It doesn't clear because they're waiting on it, like at that moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't clear. And the next day comes around, and the bank has flagged my account for fraud, for check fraud, or I forgot what the
Mm-hmm.
word is called, where you make fake checks.
Yeah. Check
Which
fraud.
I really, like, I guess I was so desperate at the time for the position that I
You were
wanted.
really excited for the job because it was a
Yes.
data entry. The salary was good. Like everything was like, it was remote. Like, you were really excited about the
Yeah, because
position.
I was like, all right, Manny has made his way to St. Louis. I'm supposed to be catching up to him eventually because I'm still in Florida. I was like, if I got this job, we'll be set
Yeah.
with the combined income. Like we could take care of all of our debts, and the girls will be living life. You know, we'll give them everything we didn't have. Right? Get to the bank, talking to the teller. They let me know what's up, and it should have dawned on me that the check didn't even match the company's name. The check came from a jewelry place.
Wow.
It was
I don't remember that
a
part.
jewelry and watch repair shop. And it was for, I think it was like $3,000 or something like that.
Mm.
Because they were like, you're going to need a MacBook. And I'm like, well, I've never purchased a Mac, anything Mac or Apple. So I'm assuming it's going to be expensive. So this makes sense. Oh, man. So then when the bank's like, hey, this is fraud, I'm immediately like, Nani?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know. Talk to the bank. I have to pay a fee. Thankfully, because I wasn't wigging out on the bank, I just paid a small fee compared to what it would have been.
Yeah.
I didn't get banned, so like the situation was more or less controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And like I cut off communications from this person. I don't know what became of them. Maybe they're still out there scamming. I mean, maybe that's who tried to get you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, moving right into me, literally 2 days ago, I've been applying to multiple positions because I want more experience and higher level. It's kind of weird to say it like that, but basically, like, I'm looking at the inner working high level operations of C suites that are already fully functional.
Need a different viewpoint.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
my background is in operations and HR management, usually for medium-sized organizations, even nonprofits, which was on the smaller side. But I really wanted to get that view from like a high level, and the amount of time it would take for me to get Omni HR from here up to that point would take such a long time, as opposed to just, looking in directly.
It's your money and you need it now.
So I was applying to different positions, and here's where it is. When you apply to certain job boards directly, not positions on website, like on someone's career portal,
Mm-hmm.
but just the job board. So think like Glassdoor, Indeed, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have your account and they share it with other people.
Yeah.
That's where they get your information. So I ended up getting a message telling me that I would be considered for this position. I was looking for executive assistant because I wanted to be a assistant to a high level CEO.
To
That's
get
what I'm
eyes on
looking
the
for.
inside.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of like I thought that was a clever-ish way to
I mean, it
move
still
in.
is. It's just that was just a scammer.
Yeah, but I ended up. They reached out to me saying they were invisible, which is a top 5,000 company in the U.S. right now. Like, they're a legit company, very solid.
Invisible.co,
Yeah,
I think.
and basically they, through the text message, or actually it was an email from their chief people officer, which used the same name as the actual chief people officer. Like they went in, like the title had
Wow.
it, the email, like
So even identity theft.
all of it was a part of it. And then I went in, I did the recruiting, the interview fully through so Microsoft Teams, and that's where I was like, this is a little off.
Because it wasn't even video or voice call.
Correct.
It
And
was still just chatting.
yeah. And they kind of saved it a little bit because they were like, we do blind recruiting. And I was like, that's clever, because that is a good way to recruit. Is
But
blind
here comes
recruiting.
your IT wife who's like, red flag, red flag.
Yeah. I mean, like, I saw it too, but I was just like, let's feel it out. I won't give out too much of my personal information. And then it came down to them saying they were going to send me a check. And I was like, nope. And I
That's
immediately
exactly
was like,
what your wife warned about.
yep. And I was like, no longer interested in the position. Thank you so much. Delete and block. And like, that was it. And then I didn't tell you about this because it literally happened yesterday.
And we've been so busy.
I got a
Happy
text
Halloween,
message.
y'all.
Yeah, happy Halloween. I got a text message from a person saying they were Squarespace or Square, yeah,
The
Squarespace.
Square?
Yeah, the Square,
Wow.
like the people that big company. Same thing. They wanted to send me directly to Microsoft Teams to try to
Mm-hmm.
do an interview. So it's very frequent. It's out there. It happens a lot. And the red flags. Let's break that down in a way that anyone could easily identify it. So one is if you don't see someone, right? Like if you don't see a picture, if you don't see a or not a picture, but like a video where you're actually talking to someone either on the phone or a video or in person,
Yep.
sketchy.
Yep.
So chat based is wrong. Number 3 is if they offer to send you a check.
Yep.
If anyone offers to send you a check
If it's too
before
good to be true, it
any
really is.
paperwork, yeah, like it's a problem.
Yep.
I think those two are like the biggest red
If they
flags.
upfront ask you for your social security,
Yeah. Well, I mean
and
they didn't do that to me.
not all of them will. I mean, these are like the very obvious ones. So they're actually straying away from just asking people for social security numbers. Instead, they're asking you for some of the basic information. Your full name, address, telephone number.
Yep.
Because with that, it's very easy to verify your bank information.
Yep.
Calling up a bank, being like, I forgot my login credentials, but here's my demographic information.
Yeah. Another thing that was a red flag for me is Invisible is known for having good software and all of their information was through Google Forms. That for me was a red flag. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this company is known for having fantastic software. Like that's what they do is they sell software. You're gonna tell me they're using Google Forms to try to collect information for an applicant? Like, no. Like they're using a different system. So yeah, a lot of different red flags out there for sure. So all right. I think we touched enough on that topic. Let's talk about applying directly. Like, so when you actually do apply to the position, how many positions do you think you've applied to recently?
I think I'm in the 200s.
Yeah.
Desperation has kicked in.
Well, no, see, I don't see it like that.
What?
You need the numbers. Like it's not like back in the day where you apply to 10 places and one person gets you. It's just not like that anymore. Thinking that it's going to be like that is what's going to make you upset.
I shouldn't have to apply in more than 200 jobs.
Why? Think of all the positions that are out there. Like think of all the people that want a job. Like it's I just
More than
there's
200 and only one
there's
nibbled? Not even a full bite.
there's 7 million people in I think more than that. I don't really remember the data now, but there's millions of people in just the US, let alone the world, but just the US, millions of people. Out of those millions of people, all of them that are above the age of like 16 need a job, right?
She need a job.
She need a job.
Inside joke.
So, so because of that, like that's a lot of positions and a lot of people looking for it. And realistically, that's competition. And when you look at remote jobs,
Yes, this is accurate. However, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of applicant sites will now show you the number of applicants that you're competing against. And they're
which
usually just
I
in like
don't,
hundreds to thousands.
yeah, yeah. And that's tough because it's really on remote jobs. Like, I think the number is always higher because instead of going against just your local area, you're going against not only the entire of US, but the entire world.
I've seen some for the physical sites, especially the one that I applied for Google that was a physical site.
No, no, for sure, for sure. And I'm not saying, well, Google is also different because people will travel for that job.
Yeah.
But
That
like,
one I think had like 3,000 applicants.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm surprised I even
Google's
got an
different.
interview.
Well, that's good though. That's a positive.
Mhm.
But when it comes to a remote position, you're not just going against your city or your state. You're going against the entire US because it's
Did
remote.
you say Google?
No, no, I said just remote jobs.
Oh, okay.
And then not even that, you're also going against the entire world because realistically anyone can do the job now. As long as you're awake during the time frame they need someone, it's kind of an
Well,
open
it
game.
depends because
Like there are restrictions.
it depends because I'm seeing some remote jobs that are now restricting you have to work within the area.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure as to why. I have assumptions. Like you may have to go to the hub for whatever kind of
Yeah, it's more like a
issues.
hybrid than a fully
Yes.
remote.
Um, I've heard, but I haven't verified this. I've heard that there will be companies that will limit the position to the specific area because they are trying to make sure that that local demographic has greater chance of getting a job.
I like that for sure. Like I think that is nice because it also kind of controls the talent pool a little bit. Like I said,
Kind
like
of.
when you're going against everyone in the US,
Mhm.
that's tough, you know? Cuz like I consider myself as my career is semi above average. Like I guess like for my age, my demographic information, like I'd consider myself a little bit above average, but I'm not like I'm not good enough I think to compete against everyone in the US. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Like
it's really a spectrum when it comes to recruiting. Like it's not are you good or are you bad? It's how good are you and then how bad are
I
you?
don't know. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. With competing against people worldwide because essentially when you're trying to do what I'm doing in IT, you're competing with people across the globe. And the reason why I don't have an issue with it is because talent's talent.
Well, I get what you're saying, but one thing is that other countries they look to work in the US as an opportunity. The people in
For
the US,
sponsorship usually in
well,
visa.
yeah, definitely. Like there's tons of reasons. But people in the US typically do not look outside of the US for work.
I mean, it's kind of hard to when because like I have looked outside of the U.S. for work, but what's the main issue? Language barrier.
Oh, yeah.
You have your language barrier, and then the second one that I'm seeing the most with looking for IT jobs is getting a legitimate job. That's like that's such a problem right now. Go to look for a job somewhere, it's not just the language issue, but it's also the job's not legit. It's let me send you a check. Or you have to invest in the company, so you send us money and then you get the job.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah,
No.
that's tough, yeah.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that's just but like I said, it's a lot cuz you're going against so many people when it comes into the US. And that's another thing to realize is that it's not just people in the US you're going against, it's the people outside of the US too. So, like I said, applying to 200 is tough. And it's almost like a full-time job. Like
It truly
the
is.
time dedication that you need to get a job nowadays is 100% there. But the thing to realize is that that is currently just a way of life. Like that's just how it is.
What do you think
So,
about because I'm seeing this post that's quite a bit on social media. And the question is, why should we hire you? You know, the classic
mhm,
question. And people are so tired. They're like so sick and tired of being sick and tired that they're flat out answering because I showed up. They're not even like, oh, I'm willing to be driven for the company. And I'm not knocking them.
yeah,
Like, obviously, you have tactful and professionalism, sure. Um, but I can also see the exhaustion. And if your question, I understand both perspectives. I
mhm,
understand the company's aspect of it, of why should we hire you? Because, you know, why waste the time
yeah,
and resources to train you if you're not going to hang around and do your best? And then I also understand the side of those who have been putting their best foot forward and they're just they want to sit down.
yeah.
You
I
know what I mean?
yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from
So what
there.
do you think about that?
It really comes down to the competition. And the reason why I say that is that a lot of people, specifically our generation, were told elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Like that's the route. And then after college, you get a 4-year degree. Most people were not working, like they just went to college. Either their parents paid for them, grants, student loans, whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, or like a part time job, like it wasn't like a career. Like, no, people usually don't start their career in college, they wait until after college.
Which is
So,
wild.
So then,
Start early.
yes, for sure. So then that is the starting point. The thing though is that that's everyone's starting point from our generation.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's
is not always a good setup,
no.
in
It's
my
not.
opinion.
It's not a good setup at all.
Oh,
Because
you think not at all, you think?
yeah, not at all. Because the thing is that it's this our entire generation, like that was normal. Like you go through school, you continue school, and then you were quote unquote guaranteed a job. Like that was what was
Yeah,
told
that
to
was some
us.
false preaching, man.
And it's not their fault at that time with their information. They thought that was right.
I don't know why though, because talking to older generations than ourselves, I'm hearing from older generations that that wasn't the case for them either.
No, of course not. But time changes culture. So it's just like how they say, like, hard people make easy times and easy times make soft people. Like, it's the same thing. Like, they had it tough. They went through world wars. Like, they went through a lot of really challenging things. Depressions, like things that we as a people nowadays could not imagine going through unless you travel outside of the US and see these war-torn areas. Like they grew up like that. Obviously, they would want their children to have an easier time.
Yeah.
Like you don't like right now I have to tell my daughters or my daughter that she has to go for a walk, she has to run, she has to do stuff, she has to be active. And one of those things is that I can't say you're not allowed to eat food, you're not allowed to, have a bed, you're not allowed to have your own room. Like I want her to find that balance of having a tough life enough that she knows what hard is and when she goes out into the world, it's not overwhelming. But parents, specifically the parents of our generation, they viewed it as college is the path to success. Like you need a white collar job, you need to have a position where you can sit in an office and then you put your money in your 401k, like that's success.
Yeah.
And it's not that they were wrong, it's just too many people thought that was
Too
success.
many people thought that was going to be the case for everyone.
Exactly.
And
So,
that's not that was the consistent battle was go to college, you're successful, and then you have the other side that's like no, because college isn't for everyone, nor is it meant to be. Like college is there to refine and then master your skills
yeah.
for skills that require it. Now, there are colleges that have classes for every freaking thing, and they spew this false advertisement like you have to go to get it done. I wish I had known then what I know now, that for me to get to where I am right now in IT, I could probably be further without having to go and get my freaking masters.
That's a dangerous mindset.
It's dangerous, but it's accurate. And the
I
reason why I
mean,
say this is because out of all of my legitimate IT colleagues, there's only one with an actual degree. The others have technical college under their belt. So it's not associate, bachelor's, master's.
mhm,
No, I don't know how
a
they count it.
certification.
Certifications.
Yeah.
And they are phenomenal at their jobs. And they can do so many great things. Meanwhile, with my masters, I scraped the surface with most of the topics that were covered.
Yeah.
That's not like and most people will be like, "Well, that's cuz you weren't paying attention." No, I paid freaking attention to everything that was dished out to me. But what I'm telling you is that it didn't go into depth. It didn't have the hands-on skill set required to actually do things. And now here with the masters, I sit and I'm scouring the job boards because I don't have anything right now.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had certifications, I would have been sitting somewhere real nice right now if I did.
That's like I said, that's a dangerous mindset mainly because that's the viewpoint that it's always greener on the other side. Like you one first thing, whatever time has passed is past, right? Like everyone only has right now, like this is your
Don't give me
starting
that.
point.
Don't give me that crap, okay?
Well,
Because
because it's true
you
though.
learn
Like,
from your mistakes.
correct. And that's how you know they were mistakes.
Yes, and me going to college for nearly 8 years of my life because it had expand.
I wouldn't say that was a mistake. I wouldn't say that was a mistake. Here's the reason why is that you now have something that other people don't.
A
So,
master's?
well, here's the thing though, is that when it comes to an associate's, it's really like dipping your toe into the knowledge. That's what it is. It's, am I even somewhat interested in this? And realistically, it's more of like general ed stuff than actually going deep dive into the actual
Well,
like
not
niche.
always the case because mine was specific to medical science.
That's
I
fine.
had like 4 classes that were just general ed, and then all my other classes were all niched.
That's fine, but like that's your first taste of it. Like, do I like this? Like, do I want this to be your career? Your bachelor's is a little bit more in depth, but it's just basic. Like that's what a bachelor's
The
is.
bachelor's was the hardest part in my opinion.
I get it, but it's so one of the reasons why it's the hardest part is because you're not the only person to say that, is because the bachelor's is fully engrossing yourself into it without actually doing the job.
Mm.
Everything is theoretical, and that's what makes it tough. You don't actually have the hands-on training,
You know
and you're
what?
not doing it every day.
I think that's why I am where I am right now because I didn't stay in one field.
Yes.
Associates, medicine, bachelor's, education,
Yep.
master's, technology.
And that's the thing, is that because you jumped so much, it makes it really, really tough because you didn't actually.
I didn't build the foundation.
Exactly. And then so that's what the bachelor's is
Dang, I
for.
just put myself on blast.
so that's so that's what the bachelor's is for. It's really engrossing yourself into something, but it's only theoretical. And companies know that. So that's one thing. Finally, the master's is the first part of, in my opinion, you shouldn't do a master's unless you're already good at the field. Like a master's is there to open the door to future
It's to
ideas.
literally master your skill.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not just coming up with, or it's not just following a protocol, it's coming up with your own ideas
Mm-hmm.
on those processes. And then from there, after you get to that stage, a doctorate's, that's completely developing your own ideas on a niche. Like that's what education is supposed to be like. And that's why we, as a generation, because I did the same thing. I had a bachelor's in health science, and then I got my MBA after that. So, like, I definitely get not having a foundation.
Yeah, but you would think that you were always in like business. I think you just have that business mindset.
Well, not necessarily. It's not that I always had the business mindset, it's that I did a job. I worked at UPS, and working at UPS, I understood supply chain management. I understood how a warehouse works. I understood how leadership works. I understood how I dealing in at least low level KPIs and key performance indicators and things like that. So it really comes down to college is good. Like universities are positive, but it depends on how you view them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's not, grass is always greener on the other side. The past is the past, but like if you're at whatever age that you currently are, like you can still move forward. Like, and not even just still move forward, you are going to keep moving forward. Whether or not you choose to live the same life every single day on repeat and then eventually die, or improve yourself just a little bit every single day, like that's all it's about. And education is the same exact way.
I think that going along with what you said, that the it's not just how you view college, but it's whether or not you actually need it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of. So as far as needing it, you don't know what you need when you're in high school.
Well, not everyone needs college.
Well, need is a strong word, so I guess you're right. Not everyone needs college. What you said is right. Not everyone needs college.
Okay, not trying to really paint a mental picture here and not, but listen, if I said, you know what, I think I would be happy for the rest of my life being a stripper. Do I need to go to college to be in performing arts?
No, but maybe you want to open up your own strip club.
Did I say that? No, I said being a stripper. Owning a strip club is completely different. I said being a stripper.
That's fine.
So do I need to go to college in performing arts?
Not necessarily.
No, where the hell are they going to put my degree? On my pole? It's not for everyone. And I know strippers like like a wild example,
Yeah.
and most people would stray away from the idea. It's a job.
It's a profession, people.
It's still
All
a
right, let's keep
profession.
it.
I'm not one to go and dabble with that stuff, but I still respect the hustle. But if okay, let's use something a little bit more home side.
And I just want to say that we completely went away from the recruiting aspect of this conversation.
We were talking about job hunting, which we're still in the topic of.
Not really.
If yeah, because education ties in hand. If I said I would be happy if I was just a bagger at a grocery store,
Look, that's fine.
do I
I'm
need college?
no. And like I said, you don't need
But
college.
I said not everyone needs college, and you were like, well,
Well, no. You're right.
You're
Not
stretching it.
everyone needs college. It's the thing is that you know what? You're right.
not everyone needs college. Leave it
You're
at
right.
that.
Not everyone needs college.
No. Can
It's
you take
just
possible online certifications for something to enhance yourself? Maybe. Is it necessary? It depends. I'm not saying it's a yes or no though. It it varies.
yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
not everyone needs college. You're right. Because someone who enjoys rodeoing, like they're a cowboy, they
Yeah, what
enjoy
the hell are
that
they gonna do
that
with the
lifestyle.
certification?
Well, I mean, agriculture is a study in business or in
Not all rodeo
schooling.
riders actually own.
No, I agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
They just show up, they ride, they get paid.
but yeah, so I
Respect the craft.
definitely get it. I definitely get it. Yeah, not everyone needs college. You are correct with that statement.
Which essentially ties back into job hunting.
Not really, because when it comes to education, in my opinion, education doesn't hold as much value nowadays as it did in the past. Specifically, because education itself is always important. I want to make that very, very clear. Specifically, the degree itself is not as important. Because the thing is that a degree versus someone who does not have a degree, okay, that is something. But the job training and the resume, the experience, that experience is more important.
In what time frame? Because I hear what you just said often. Education doesn't have, or a degree doesn't have as much value as it did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that a lot from different generations, to the point where I'm like, at what point was it considered actually valuable besides during Galileo's era?
No. Actually, when we were younger, a degree was important.
Younger in what sense? Because I'm only 30, you're 29.
I remember when I was, I want to say 22. And at that time frame, I think so about 10 years ago.
That was like the exiting period.
That's fine, but
You
that's
know what I
still
mean?
yeah, but that at that time frame, people viewed education as like a direct translation to experience. And then but even then, it only translated to the equivalent amount. So, for example,
Maybe.
like 4 years of a degree was equivalent to 4 years of experience in that field.
Maybe. And here's why I say maybe. Because I have a theory, and I don't know if anyone else has touched this, but I have a theory that gets thrown around to blanket over ageism. When
That's
you go to
interesting.
apply to a job and they say, well, we would really like you to have this degree, like when I was trying to become a teacher
Mm-hmm.
and it required a bachelor's degree. I had my BA, my BS.
Yeah.
I was wrapping it up actually. I think I had like a month or something left. And when I was doing the interview, they said, well, we would really like a master's degree. Per the job board, it said BS, preferred, not even required.
Yeah.
So this is kind of giving me like yellow, not red flags, right? But it's not just them. In other areas where applying at a younger age, where they're like, well, we have enough uh teenagers, young adults.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's open ageism. Um, or where you go to apply and they say, well, you have some years, but we would like to see a degree. And the position doesn't actually require a degree. It's very odd. So that's why I'm like, this seems like a blanket of an excuse if they just don't want your age range.
That's interesting. I've actually never dealt with that. I've never viewed my age as a limiting factor in a position.
Even when you worked that office for the doctor
No, I
and you
mean,
were
I
so
was
bad at that
20,
job.
I was, no, my age had nothing to do with it. They gave me the job. I mean, when I was 27 years old, I was voted in by the board of directors of Combat Connect to become the CEO. So, like, I don't view, but that's only because I had an overwhelming amount of experience. I had, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had stuff to back it. It wasn't just like, I didn't show up and be like, I've done nothing. Or, not done nothing, but like,
Yeah, but then in that
I have
case,
limited experience.
no offense to anybody else on the CC job, the board of directors, but in that case, you were like the second person to actually be level-headed
Well, that's,
and educated. Not just with a paper, but
no, no, no. I mean,
literally educated.
that's, no, that's grossly incorrect. There was over 60 people that were there, and all of them were volunteers, and
I'm
all of
giving him a
them.
face right now because I was there too, but hardly any of these people showed up. So that's why I'm giving him a face.
Well, like, I mean, they didn't show up to any meetings that you were involved in, but I will say the operations themselves were like that was a challenge because, like I said, it was a volunteer, so all of them had to support it on their own time. So like that was a challenge, but that's separate from my personal education, my personal background. They were all more experienced than me. I mean, not more experienced, but like actually, yeah, I would say most of them were more experienced than me. Most of them had a more diverse background. Most of them were older than me.
Mm.
I think that it really came down to I put in the time, I developed the entire operations, I, put in and developed the HR infrastructure.
I saw it differently because, I did sit behind you for most of your meetings. So, yeah, we were remote, so I was
Yeah.
always in the room, but, or on the outside sometimes, but tomato, tomato.
So, yeah, I mean there's a lot that goes into education and, age, race, religion, like those
The
should
experience
not
needed
be
for
a
jobs.
factor, I meant, when it comes into hiring. What should come into hiring is the ability to do the role, but it becomes very difficult when you have millions of people applying or at least looking at jobs at the same time. And like I said, it really comes into the shift of focus from for our generation to want office jobs versus, white collar jobs versus blue collar jobs. Like that was really a push that was given to us, and I think that is what kind of caused the dynamic that we currently have.
I think also, I feel like this ties in, but correct me while we're going along. Um, the whole years of experience required versus the actual what do you call it, like realistic years of experience. So what they want versus what actually is realistic. They want someone in their mid-20s with 10 years of experience in the field. Where do you expect that to come from?
Well, I will say this. They don't put in there, I want someone in the
They don't put
mid
that in
20s.
anymore. They don't put that in anymore because that has been widely disbanded.
I haven't seen, and
Really?
I've done recruiting and I've been an applicant. So like
Yeah,
I've
but you
gone
haven't
through
always done recruiting. I've seen that crap.
it. But yeah, I haven't seen we want someone in their mid 20s
That's
unless it's like an internship and they're specifically looking for one type of applicant. Cuz that can be its own thing. If the position itself is super
if
niched.
I'm correct, even internships are not allowed to put stuff like that
I
in
mean, they
anymore.
shouldn't. Yeah. Well,
The
yeah,
the
cuz
age
it's more of
requirements.
just like the requirement for the position.
Or
Anyways,
like now they'll do the the degree versus the year of experience. It's I've seen some that'll be like associate's degree required with 7 to 9 years of experience.
Yeah.
And,
Well, so
and like an associate's is an entry level, 7 to 9 years.
no, it's not. So like I said, that's so okay. Here's an example. You view education differently from other
What do you
people.
view associates as? On what level?
An associate's is a low-level university or college degree. Remember, only our generation
Yes, I know
went
that.
straight into college. Other generations did not do that. That was not the norm. So like I said, this was a difference in
We'll use
culture.
Google's board for an example. So they have intern, entry, mid, mid senior, senior, executive.
Hmm.
Associates falls an intern and entry for them.
Yeah, it's fine because they're hiring a
That's what I
current
just said.
amount
I
of
just said
people.
associates is an entry level.
Well, no, that's fine, but I'm saying as a recruiter, you view it differently. And like I said, this is just a difference when it comes
Well,
to the
then that's
views of
another problem
culture.
of its own.
All right, well, so
If
answering your question, because you asked me a question previously that I didn't really
I already
touch on.
forgot the question.
The question was, what are my thoughts on the spectrum where it comes to like the preferred qualifications of someone versus what's actually required for that position? And I will tell you the same thing that I told my interns that I trained in like HR director level training. And essentially, it's you want the spread to be there. You want to include the lowest level per like applicant, but you also want to include up to the highest level applicant that you're looking for. So, with that spread, anyone that falls inside of it is acceptable. But you're also putting out there the higher level of that because also think about it. There's so many
This
applicants.
sounds like you're setting up applicants for false hope.
Well, here's the thing. There's so many applicants. Why wouldn't I want to pick the best? Just because an applicant or just because a candidate is not the best does not mean that I'm required to pick them.
Maybe I'm not understanding this correctly because what it sounds like is a switch and bait.
No. I'm looking for the best person. When you're a recruiter, you're looking for the best
So
person.
if you're looking for someone for an entry level role,
Yeah, I'm looking for the best one.
okay. But if you're looking for someone with for an entry level role and you put out there, well, let me ask you as someone that's done recruiting, what do you consider years of experience to be like the number wise?
Well, so that's challenging because it depends on the position itself. For
Okay, so
example, okay,
let's say customer service manager.
okay, manager, not entry level,
Okay,
right?
associate then.
Okay, customer
Customer
service
service
associate.
associate.
So here also, this depends on like I said, recruiting is complicated because that
What
question
would you
is
put on the
dependent.
job board?
That question is dependent on the position itself. A company that is very large will title something differently from a small or medium company. Like the title itself changes. The level of responsibility that applicant has changes.
Customer
So,
service associate for a small grocery store.
is it a remote? Okay, for a small grocery
Yes,
store,
there you go.
customer service. So is this like a cashier,
Niche it down.
or is this on the
It says
phone?
customer service associate.
Okay, but like so CSR or CSA, are they in?
Job varies because this is what it says on a lot of applicant sites.
Yes, but as a recruiter, you have to know the information. So obviously, I can't put a title, or I can't put
So I have to okay,
pricing.
so painting the scene.
I need the whole scene. I
We
need the size of the
want
company. I need how many employees they have. I need exactly what this person is
okay.
doing.
So we have a CSA
Okay.
needed for a small grocery store
Mhm.
with approximately 20 employees,
Okay.
and it is, let's say the foot traffic for customers are about 100 a day.
Great. Okay.
Your duty goes from cashier
Okay.
to grabbing carts,
Hmm.
bagging, and on the occasional restocking.
Got it. Okay. So high school diploma needed or GED equivalent. I would also want because you have with that is just basic like education level. Are they able to start and finish something? A second thing is it would be a minimum wage job. So because of that, I would require 0 to 2 years experience in that field. like, doing anything.
Okay, that's reasonable. Here's what I'm telling you I'm seeing while looking for jobs. For something similar to that, like ridiculously similar, I am seeing a requirement of 3 to 5 years. Does that sound entry level?
Like I said, I'd have to see it. I don't know. Because maybe for that position, maybe for that company, that is reasonable. Like I
That
said,
doesn't
it's
that doesn't sound reasonable for an entry level position
entry level
for a
means a lot of
CSA
things.
small company around exactly what I was telling you for
Yeah.
the not geographic, the demographics of it. That doesn't sound accurate.
Yeah. Like I said, I get it, and I definitely see that there is a problem. I'm just saying, like, I'm being devil's advocate. I
Okay,
see that
I'll
there's a
give you another
problem.
one. Desktop support technician.
Okay.
Okay? This is usually like entry to mid.
Okay.
It's like a schmedium.
It's a schmedium.
It's
All
a
right. It's a
schmedium. Think of
schmedium
it
roll.
like that.
Schmedium roll. Got
Okay.
it.
So you're serving about your clientele is about 2 to 300 personnel, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interbusiness. So it's not the business's customers directly.
Yep.
You're essentially your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've got that going on. Certifications, they want Cisco,
Okay.
um, Microsoft Azure.
Mm-hmm.
They need you to know how to operate Google Suites, basic Microsoft such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and forgot the other one. It's
Okay.
like all data entry. I forgot what it's
Just
called.
so you know, the more certifications you're adding on there, the experience that someone needs immediately goes up in my head. So even though you
It used to
said
be like that. Most of this is taught in middle school now.
that's fine.
Middle
I'm
school and
just
high school.
saying that the more certifications that you're putting in there, in my mind, as like, the recruiter hat is on my head, immediately it goes up because just like you said, a middle schooler can understand a basic
I'll
form of
give
it.
you a little background. Cisco, well, depending on what you're using in Cisco, but for this scenario, you're not doing too much.
Okay, but you still want them to know it.
Because you don't have access like that. So I'm just giving you the basic that you're not. You go in, you change some passwords, you make sure that network's connected,
Well, that's
and
go
let's
ahead, keep going.
and Azure. It's not a lot. This is
Mhm.
associate stuff, degree wise or certifications. Either way, so you need that 40 hours a week,
Mhm.
um, on call. Usually you're on call for this and rotating schedule, and you get certain paid federal holidays. Benefits are only your um 401k and medical.
Okay.
Let's say that. The pay is $15 an hour.
Okay. So, as soon as you said the pay, my mind, because everything up to the point where you said pay, I'm thinking a bachelor's degree with 2 to 5 years experience. As soon as you said the pay, the compensation then shifted, like
Mm-hmm.
in my mind. And then that structure changed. So if it's $15 an hour, I would think a reasonable amount accommodating for that would realistically be 1 to 5 years. Because, like I said, you want the lower end to the higher end of the spectrum. And then I would probably look for certifications, maybe a bachelor's degree. But I probably wouldn't even for $15 an hour. I wouldn't require anyone to have a bachelor's degree. But that's probably where around where I'd be looking
fifteen
for.
dollars an hour. I wouldn't even have you do an associate.
Yeah.
I would do on the job training. Most of that is going to be on the job. Here's the thing with technology. A lot of companies that you walk into, you have to learn the technologies that that company is using.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always an outsourced.
Yeah.
And
That I know, but it really comes down to are they are they capable of learning it?
mhm,
And that's what a recruiter is kind of looking for. Like, do they want to learn it, and can they learn it?
most technology people, you have to be able to quickly learn and be on your feet.
Yeah.
If not, you're I don't want to say it like this, but like you're just not fit for the role.
Yeah.
Talking to one of my old colleagues, my replacement for this place, I'm not going to name drop for this one, but mainly because like I don't know how it would affect his current work.
Yeah.
But the person that took over in my place still doesn't know how to change passwords in the system.
Crazy.
And we are coming up to a year that I've been gone. I think past that.
Yeah, I think it's been more
I
than a
think it's
year.
been more than a year. Yeah, more than a year. I just got an update last week from them.
That's
They still
hilarious.
don't know how to change a freaking password.
That's just the way it
That is the
is.
basic of the basic. And mind you, that position did require an I'm drawing a blank. Was that an associate's or a bachelor's?
I don't remember.
I know that when I was there, I was finishing up my master's, and that was the only thing that got me in the door. That and like you were my husband. Or still are my husband, but while we were working there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Some of these job board postings are not worth it. And I know a lot of people are like, no, do it to get your foot in the door. It's experience under the belt. Here's a little problem with the experience under the belt. And I only say this because of personal experience. Getting a job because you want to get the experience but not actually learning anything is a waste of time.
Yeah, but I think that depends on where you're at
It's
personally, right?
it's money, sure. Like if you need the money, totally understand it.
No, I mean learning. Like that depends on where you're at. Because
Yeah,
like if I'm brand new, like I could have all this experience with business and HR and stuff like that, but I don't know anything about IT.
yeah,
So any IT job that I take, I'm learning. Like it could be the lowest level job to you, but to me, I'm learning. So
yeah.
that's super
I
subjective because
get
it's all
that.
based off the person.
I get that. I get that. Yeah. Is I think you really need to be paying attention to your surroundings while working and your day to day. If it's not if you're not learning something every day, um why and you know that you're not a master of that skill, there's a problem there.
Maybe. I don't know. That's subjective because like I said, that's
If we're
your.
looking at something that is like you are looking to learn. I know I should have
Yeah.
specified
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like
if you
obviously if
want to
I'm a
learn,
farmer,
okay.
I'm not looking to learn an IT role. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying.
Which I'm looking to learn farming.
So I did want to bring this up with you. What have you seen when you're actually applying? Tell me
Mhm.
a little bit about the software itself. Like
Which
when
ones?
you're applying, well, I mean, just in general, when you're applying to jobs, we've seen
I hate
Workday,
it.
we've seen, like ADP, like a lot of these systems, they have either human resource information systems, human resource management systems, applicant tracking systems.
Okay.
Like there's a lot out there. So I'm curious on the IT point of view, what are your thoughts? And just so that you know, I also want to segue into how they're using AI to screen things. So just let you know, I
I'm
want
gonna
to segue
forget,
into
but
that.
after I'm done talking, I'm gonna forget that you even said that. So don't even worry about it. So work day. And if Workday ever happens to listen to this, I'm not throwing you guys shade, just suggestions. But you have thousands, maybe millions, I have no idea, thousands of companies that use your software. And for whatever reason, you can't integrate profiles is beyond me. How many? Manny, you've seen it because I know you've been on Workday more than once.
how many how many other companies are doing it? Because that's my question though. Because whenever I see a company or a software that doesn't do something, it kind of makes me think: can anyone else do it, or is this one aspect just really hard to
I
do?
have seen it with other companies where with dang it, I'm drawing a blank. If I knew we were going to talk about this today, I would have had a list for you. Because I have seen it where not Workday, but there's another a few sites actually that you put up your candidate profile. Oh, USA Jobs, that's a perfect example. USA Jobs is government focused for vets and vet spouses and those alike. But you create your candidate profile,
Mhm.
you fill out everything from A to Z, your resume information, because it asks you for your resume, but then you also have to put your work experience, whatever. It saves it though. So that way, when you go to apply to however many jobs, your candidate profile is always ready. If you want to tweak it, you can do that to fit the bill, but it's always there. You don't have to keep on starting anew every time like Workday.
I get that. for sure.
Like
But
Workday,
with
think
that,
of Workday as just an engine.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing is that USA Jobs, that one system automatically links to a specific number of government entities,
Which is
as
still a
opposed
lot.
to Workday. Yeah. No, no, it for sure is a lot, but like it's not like they're getting a new one every day, right? Workday is actively getting new clients. Like they're in operations
All the
to
more reason they
grow.
should hire more IT personnel to work on their software.
Well, they're still a
I'm just
business. They
saying.
got to think about their money.
I
So
would be a
I
perfect
like
fit.
the idea though, and I do think that I'd be perfect for it. That's funny. So I do like the idea though, and I do like that suggestion. I think that it is something that a lot of applicants see
Mhm.
because it is kind of a problem. Like when it
Mhm.
comes down to
LinkedIn got it down pretty good. That easy apply that they got going on.
yes,
It doesn't fit for everyone because there's companies that still require you go through their own portal.
yeah. I mean the problem with Easy Apply is that hundreds or like thousands of people do it. So this kind of comes down to where I was talking about competition. When it comes to remote jobs or jobs that it's very easy to apply,
That's not a problem. That's just a thing.
no, no. Oh, you're right. I guess it's not a problem except for the other 9,999 people that didn't get the job as opposed to the one person that did.
How is that a problem?
Because the other 9,000 people think that they weren't good enough or think that all those 9,000 people, they're also applying to other jobs. And then that racks up to everyone applying to 200 plus
But that's a
jobs,
problem with the
which you said is a
software?
problem. No, 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 not a problem with software, a
That's
problem with
I
the
thought that's what
system.
we were talking about.
It is, but I thought that you kind of switched out.
No, I
Okay,
was
my
still on
bad.
softwares.
My bad, my bad. Let's switch back in to
Like
software.
LinkedIn, Monster, um, Indeed, GoDaddy, not GoDaddy, um,
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy. It's fun to say, but anyway, I'm drawing a blank now. I named those three and I forgot Glassdoor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's another one now too. There's quite a bit of job boards, but they have it to where you do your candidate profile. You have the ability to easy apply to quite a bit of jobs. And a lot of people see it as like a lazy thing. I see it as like, I need to get my name in this freaking door. I need somebody thinking of my name when they need somebody.
Yeah.
So you can call it lazy, but I'm grinding out here trying to apply to jobs. But yeah, Workday, work on your stuff. It should not be because like I don't know how many jobs in a day that I apply to through Workday, but I always have to start anew.
I I think that I first off, I like what you said. I think that Workday shouldn't necessarily change themselves. Actually, they probably could have their own job board. They have so many people use their software to apply. I'm curious why they don't necessarily have their own like homepage and all of their positions that they're supplying for just be
Yes.
there.
And especially with all the positions that you apply that are powered through Workday's engine,
You
I
know,
would like to see your applications and a list of all of them with their statuses.
yeah, for a company like
If they
theirs
do
that's
this, I want to
already
get
doing
paid for
well.
this idea.
No, 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 no. Go ahead, Workday. Take the idea. I think it's a cool idea, especially from like an HR perspective.
I just need a
I think it's
small
very
loan of
unique
$1 million.
because it's it's really just taking something that you're already doing and then making it more public, so that way, one, you become known as the company that helps people apply
Yeah.
faster, and that by itself, because like they're already a well-known company, like they're already doing very well. And I think that this is an issue that an applicant can see, but maybe the company likes it as is. Because remember, you're not necessarily their client, the
Hmm.
company is their client. So
Yeah.
making things easier for you
Doesn't
is
matter.
not their focus. Well, it's not that it doesn't matter, it's just it's not their current focus. But
It doesn't
using it like a
matter.
job board
They
and
don't
then
care about
creating
us.
profiles
We're the tiny
and then having
people.
everything linked up, that is a very unique idea. Look at that. Cool idea. So I wanted to talk to you as well about using AI to automatically screen resumes and automatically kick things out of the way so people don't have to spend time reading it. What is your opinion as an applicant and IT professional?
Part of me wants to be upset about it.
Okay.
Just because you know how I am. I'm always upset about something. And sometimes I don't know how to be happy. We know this. But it's smart. And I know a lot of people hate this because they're like if they just read my resume then they'll know. but this is what proper resume building is for. And the reason why AI does this is because you have a lot of bogus resumes out there, and scammers are getting smart. They're just throwing into the AI feeder, this is what I want, this is what I want you to create, and they're spamming out hundreds of fake applicants. So we need the filter.
Hmm.
We need the AI filter. And like unfortunately there are some companies that they cannot use it. And I feel for them because that is just thousands of sifting that they have to go through, and it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of reading with the foot traffic that they get. I'm for it.
Hmm.
I'm for AI. And you know what? I might be putting my foot in my mouth with being in technology, and AI might replace me one day. But I'm for it right now.
Yeah.
It's there to help us. So for those who really just cannot stand it, or they feel like they don't have much say so, if that's the case, then you need to go focus on rebuilding your resume. And there's quite a bit of agencies now that will do free resume review. They will give you feedback on your resume. They may not hold your hand, which, I mean, if you're looking for a job, you really shouldn't have anybody holding your hand. But just go use your resources. Plenty of job agencies that, like, People Ready.
Hmm.
I think they were called something else at some point, like Job Ready or something like that. It's like you go, you sign up, you do a job at like 4 o'clock in the morning if you need to make ends meet or something like that. They have resume reviews. If you're in college, most of the time you have academic services that include free well, not free, your tuition's paying for it, but it's included in your tuition to have your resume reviewed, suggested on. You have mock interviews and mock resume buildings. There are workshops in libraries. I don't know if you knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time in the United States, your local library, if you're a resident and have proof of address, you can have a free library card and access, right? Well, they will have resume classes. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
There are some companies that also do stuff like this.
So I like what you said. My question is, do you know whenever you submit a resume to a company like Workday or something like that,
Hmm.
and that software, it quote unquote autofills it, and then
It's not good.
that autofill is always really, really bad?
Hmm.
So
I don't
that,
do it. I use the manual.
okay, but that is what the AI is looking at. So the same way that it autofills, that information that it sees, that's what AI
Well,
is
there's
looking at
also
right now.
the AI auto filter out. You know what that is?
No.
So well, essentially what I had discussed about just now
Mm-hmm.
with sifting out, and basically if you don't have a certain ratio of keywords that match that job
Oh, yes.
description,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it auto filters it out. It kicks it.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I was covering.
Yeah. Yes.
For yours, for the autofill, um, I don't use the autofill because of how bad it is. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even get my name right. But that's also because I use templates. And I don't use templates that are designed to necessarily work with specific job boards.
Yeah.
Like, there are templates supposedly that do correlate with these job boards that you can use the autofill and it'll be fine. But what I do is I have my pretty resume, and then I have my simple resume, which my simple resume is everything that is in my pretty one, but without the excess formatting.
Gotcha.
You know, the breaking it apart. That is just for me to be able to copy and paste my information over and make my tweaks as I go.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've also learned from some recruiters that if your resume has images or videos attached to it, it will get kicked sometimes.
Mm.
No, naturally, because there are job boards, there are companies that have it selected that if there are any images or videos to kick them, mainly for security purposes.
Yeah.
They're not interested in profile pictures, the video resumes. I know for a little while that was really popular.
Mm.
like people sending in videos of them talking about themselves instead of the document type
Yeah.
of resume.
I never saw one. Like I
I've only
never.
seen one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about it
I
popular.
only seen one and it was a sample, so like I mean, can I actually say I saw one? I don't know. But it's it's an interesting idea for those who are comfortable with talking in the camera and can lay out everything that they need to say. Uh but just giving a heads up if you feel like you're not getting as much, and I know, look who's talking, right? If you're not getting as much traffic as you think you should with all the resumes that you're putting out there, refine your resume, take the images out, or upload the same one without images, without a color scheme. I know the pretty ones are great. I love using the Canva,
Yeah.
but this is just feedback I got from some recruiters that work with ladder.com.
Hmm.
That was the one I was trying to remember too. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That one you have to pay though for past a certain point, so I didn't continue. But I mean, like they have a lot of jobs on there, but I mean, to apply you have to pay. Like what? Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, recruiting is tough, and really finding a job is tough. And with the world being more connected than ever before, it really does make finding a position even more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just comes down to,
The Wire.
I was going to say, the competition.
It's The Wire.
It really comes down to the competition. Like the people going against you, how do you stand out? Like what actually makes you different? And like sure, everyone's a snowflake or whatever, and everyone's special in their own way.
What do you consider a snowflake?
Oh, a snowflake is a thing that comes out
No,
from the
no, no, no. You
sky
said
and it's
everyone's a
like
snowflake. Stop being a wise aleck.
everyone is unique in their own way, which is
Okay. So
true,
that's
but
not
like
what
don't
mm,
feel like
yeah, that's not
a
what
snowflake.
urban, like the more modern usage of snowflake is.
Like a
Um,
weak person?
yeah, it's a weak person.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna try to avoid that, right, Manny? We're gonna try to avoid using the term snowflake.
I'll think about it.
It's very what is it called? Insulting to the masses.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of weak people out there right now.
Would you call them snowflakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so, yeah. A lot of people are snowflakes.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How would you and like I mean I'm your wife. I'm always here and I'm always around you. So I probably know the answer to this question. But for the others,
Hmm.
how would you say the job hunt is going while still trying to balance everything else around you and
Um,
like
it's
detail it?
it's tough. It's tough. So, yeah, so I'll say it like this. One is don't expect it to be easy, all right? Because if you think it's going to be easy and then it becomes hard, it's going to feel so much worse. So, up front, finding a job is tough. Two, the only way you're going to find a job is if you actually put time towards looking for a job. And I really want to touch base on that aspect of it. That includes networking, emailing, talking to recruiters, going out of your way, reaching out to your own personal connections for different ideas or for different people or their own suggestions. Like it's not I apply to 100 positions. It's I applied to 100 positions and then I reached out to those recruiters directly. I
Hmm.
actually went on LinkedIn and I connected to the CEO and the hiring director or the HR director or the people officer
Yeah.
there. And then I reached out to them there and communicated with them there. And then I found their email on their website. And then I sent them an email. And then I added my resume. And I write a unique cover letter for every single position I apply to. Like, that is what really taking time and doing it is like. And even then, it's been 2 weeks that I've been searching for a job. I'm probably at about 120 applications so far, and I've done roughly that process for each of those positions that I could because it really kind of just depends. And I'm still searching, and that's okay.
Mm.
Like, sometimes I've searched for a job for months and I didn't even find one that I actually wanted. And that's okay. Like, it's not easy. And that's okay. Like, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna take a lot of time. You're gonna have to wake up early or go to sleep late, or you're going to have to set up alarms to get notifications when new positions are open. You're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone and reach out to people who you don't know. Or you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone and reach out to people you do know and ask them for their ideas or people that they know that you can contact. Like, it's hard, but it's okay that it's hard. And just remember that the outcome comes from the process that you're actively working on, right?
Yeah.
It's like working out. Your body is not going to be great unless you put in the effort.
And this is while we have our two girls.
Yeah.
Like we just made some changes in the household to better accommodate everyone and also make sure that we're making smarter financial decisions and whatnot. But it's this isn't coming from someone who's just sitting around waiting for the hand to reach out. This is coming from someone who's constantly on the grind. And I'm not boasting on my husband right now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself.
I'm talking about you.
I thought you.
I'm talking about you, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
But no, like he's constantly on the grind, busting butt with whatever needs to get done in the house and working, taking care of the daughters, taking care of the extracurriculars, the pets. I mean, our house is constantly under repairs. This is still while everything else is getting done. There was a quote, and I'm trying to recall where it's from. It's in our work, one of my workout musics.
Hmm.
And he says in it, he was like, if you want to sleep, you're not gonna get anything done. And it's a saying. It's not saying like you're gonna have to go days on end without any sleep at all.
Yeah.
No, he's letting you know that there is no room for relaxation when you're on the grind. And while looking for a job, um, and it's not just like on the side hustle type of like looking for a job.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I'm kind of bored of my current job and I want to get out. And no. This is when you're looking for a job because it's like dire need or something or something of that extreme. It is the grind. It's not a matter of I'm gonna go and walk around the park for a few hours and try to find some inspiration. It's hitting those job boards hard, taking care of everything that needs to be done and not slacking. That's just what I'm like. That's what I'm seeing. And also, don't quit your job before you have another one lined up. I know a lot of people will do that, and unless it's absolutely crucial, such as like there's an abuse situation in the job site, like it's that critical. You should not be quitting your job unless you have another one lined up.
Yeah. And
Being
like,
laid off and fired is different, but
yeah. And like, something being hard isn't always a bad thing. Like, I feel like there's kind of this idea that like if something's hard, it's automatically bad. Like, no, life is hard.
life sucks.
No. Life is hard.
I was
That
gonna get
doesn't
there.
make it bad.
Life sucks, but it also can be extremely rewarding and beneficial. Like you're always gonna have your ups and downs. And my husband has to remind me of this because like if it wasn't for him, I would just always be in the mindset of just life sucks. But what was it yesterday? Just washing the dishes, and I got uh that reminder. It's like I smelled the wind, the coffee,
Yes. Yeah.
and the
You smell the
like.
coffee and it reminded of our
Yeah,
honeymoon.
and we're going through all this crap right now, and it was just that scented reminder that I was like, oh my gosh, there's good. That
Yeah.
that was such a good memory, and it made me feel so nice at that moment and took me away from the bad that I'm just like, life always doesn't always suck.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
Like it sucks, but it doesn't.
to me, too, like, it really comes down to like, do you have enough to survive today? If so, then as long as you're actually putting in the effort that you need to, the stress, the anxiety, like the ideas of failure, like that doesn't help you. And I'm not talking about you individually. I'm talking about like myself or
Anyone.
anyone. But like it doesn't help us to think like that. Like originally I always had the mindset of I'm a failure, I'm not doing enough. And like at the time I wasn't doing enough. And so I was then a failure.
Mm.
And then it came down to the idea of like, okay, well then how do I fix it? Do more. Like go work out, be consistent. Wake up in the morning, drink a cup of water with some sea salt. Like, make sure that if I care about my family, spend time with my family.
And don't leave your cup next to your sink for your wife to deal with
Leave the
later.
cup next to the sink every single day because I might use it again.
He doesn't use it.
And just stuff like that. Like, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be tough. You're going against a ton of people. So how do you stand out? One big way is communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm telling you right now, if you call the
Yes.
company and you call the recruiter and you say, I'm trying to reach this person or whatever, you already stand out because
Yeah.
now they know your name.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just a file that they were never going to look at.
And it's not just about the outgoing attitude. I've seen it with even some that are more reserved to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They still have something about them when they truly have something about them. You could see it. Like a past colleague of mine, relatively quiet to himself, kind of grouchy. It's okay, but he was a master at his craft. You know what I mean? And that's what stood out about him. Everyone knew that if they needed anything to deal with programming, he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was like the guy for programming, and it was like everyone has something in them that is noticeable. It's whether or not you let others see it.
Exactly.
And if you don't let others see it, how do you expect them to see you for what you are? And then you get upset if they don't.
100%. And it's really just comes down to, will they see you? You know, if
Mhm.
there's a sea of thousands of applications in 200 to 500 different applications that you submit, but you're one of 2,000 for every single one.
The ocean's big, y'all.
Yeah, like, I know it's tough. Like, it is hard, for sure.
It is most definitely accurate that there are a substantial amount more people than jobs. We already know this. So with that mindset, you have to go into it with ready to fight.
Yeah.
At all times. You can't just walk in there like some and like this is why I said I get it, but I also disagree with it. You can't walk in there and be like, "Well, I showed up." Cuz if you were to get in the ring today with Mike Tyson and be like, "Well, I showed up. I deserve to be here." Do you really think you're going to be able to stand against Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You have to grind. This is not it's not somewhere for sleepers.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that's why, like, the I deserve to be here mindset is complete garbage.
Yeah, that sense of entitlement to like way too many people got it.
Yeah. And that's I didn't want to, like, be mean about it the first time that you said it, but
This
now
is
that you brought it
Becca's
up again.
breakdown. This is Becca's breakdown. So
Yeah.
it's to be honest, I'm surprised I haven't thrown out curse bombs. But anyway, yeah, that sense of entitlement, throw it out the window. It's okay to be prideful to an extent because you need something to give you that oomph, that je ne sais quoi, so to speak, to go in and strut your stuff, to be essentially a peacock, to have people see you.
You gotta let me fly.
Exactly. Friends.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a part of it. It really just comes down, but see, you don't need it though. Like, that's the thing, is that, like, having pride in yourself is nice, but you don't need
To a
it.
degree.
Because what you need to do are the things that you know that you need to do.
And I also think it depends on what your role is going to be, what you want your role to be. You know.
Not necessarily, because I'll tell you right now, if you were a cashier or you were applying to be a cashier for a grocery store, and then you walk in there, or you know something like, you send the general manager an email, and then you call in, and then you go in person, and then you meet with him 3 times a day, that's him seeing you. And then you take that same exact mindset and you go to a CEO of a major company and you email them and then you call them and then you go in person to
You
meet
said
them.
not necessarily, but you're essentially saying the same thing I did. Because I was saying, like, you gotta have that.
But I'm saying you don't need the pride, you just need the actions.
You just need a little bit, because, like, pride does help
It
drive you.
helps, but you don't need it. You just need the action. It's just like when you're happy. If I'm happy or if I'm sad or if I'm pissed off or I'm tired and I know that I have to wake up because my daughter is crying, it does not matter how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I feel doesn't matter. And we've talked about this so many times, and she's slowly starting to agree with me. So I'm waiting for the final time where she's like, you're right. But that's what
He
it is.
says
Like,
your
your
feelings
don't matter. If you know that you have to do something, the way you feel doesn't matter. You have to do it. And it's the same thing with this. Sure, having pride in yourself, that's great. And if you do, kudos to you. And if you don't, boo-hoo. No one cares.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Feelings. Somewhat relative. What do you think about for job hunters on LinkedIn? They now have a new profile framework, and this may have been taken down because it's been getting a lot of backlash. But they now have a pink framework that says hashtag the pound symbol
Mm-hmm.
desperate.
I've seen that. I think it's hilarious. I think it's really, really funny.
I think the motives were well intended,
Yeah.
but the execution was poor.
I mean,
Like you
it's
have people who
perception.
are
See,
really driven to get a job.
when you say execution was poor, it's a banner. Like, that's what it is. It's
It is a
literally just
banner.
a picture.
And I know people are like, words are just words. But let's face it, because we are in modern era now where words will make or break. I mean, look at the
It's
politicians.
just people feeling bad. Like, that's just what it is. It's people being like, that offends me. That's really what it is, right? Because literally, it is words. It is a word that is not a bad word.
Well, no, so a lot of feedback came from higher ups. We're talking about C-suite.
Okay.
So a lot of the feedback came back as now they don't want to hire those who have that frame on their profile
Okay.
because it doesn't show as if they want to work for the company to better themselves for the company. It just shows as if they just need the next paycheck, which is still
Okay.
incredibly
I mean,
frustrating to me.
I
But
mean, what? That's fine. That's their choice.
that's why I'm saying like that's how the backlash happened is that it hindered those who used it.
Okay.
I know you don't see it.
I don't see, because, like, literally what you said is, I tried something and it didn't work.
Yes. And
Okay.
in my opinion, I agreed with it until I read the other aspect of it because I was like, "Oh, I can kind of see how they see it that way. Like they're seeing it as this person doesn't actually want to be here. They're doing it because they have to be here."
Yeah, they just need a job.
Which, I mean, corporate leaders, please get it together. That's what most people are doing now to work.
Yes, but if you want a high performing team, like, that's the thing, is that
I
if that's the
know.
mindset, go to a
I know.
Domino's. Go to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you need money,
Domino's doesn't pay the bills, but we're not getting
that's
into
fine.
an
But if you
economic
need money,
argument right
go to
now.
Uber. Go to, you know what I'm saying? Like, go get one of these entry level
Again,
jobs.
we're not getting into an economic argument
But
right now.
that's the thing, though,
Nay,
is that
nay.
if you are a hiring director or a recruiter or anyone, you're looking for the best. No one is going to hire you out of pity.
And sometimes the best is also desperate.
That's fine, but it's not going to be pity. Like, that's not going to be the thing that's going to hire someone. I would not hire someone out of pity if I know that the role is important. If it was an entry level role and I could have any Joe Schmo do it, sure, have a pity hire. And is that really what you want? You want to be hired out of pity? No, stand up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do something. Like, do the thing that you need to do.
Bring it back down there.
I'm just saying, like, it's just like, oh, I'm desperate. Okay, well then guess what? People are gonna view you as desperate. Why would I want that on my team? Or on the other hand, maybe I do want that on my team
Well, you
because
have a
maybe
very
they'll work
corporate
harder.
mindset.
Well, I mean, like, I just switch it. Like, maybe, okay, this person might work harder because they need to be here. Like, I see both aspects of it, but the thing is that you can't be upset, or let me rephrase, you can be upset, but don't be surprised if someone else doesn't agree with your mindset. Like, if someone disagrees with me, I get it because they're not me and I'm not them. We have different ideas. That's okay.
Mm.
And that's what this was. It was just a difference in ideas. If it didn't work for
You
you,
got real
take
passionate
it
about
down.
that.
Well, it's because life's hard, but it's fun. Like, it's something that you have to work at. I feel like this mindset that I've had has been slowly changing since I was 27. I think the difference between 27-year-old me and 29-year-old me now is a huge difference.
Can that be one of my breakdowns?
Yeah.
Wait, breaking you down?
Yeah, that's fine.
Heck yeah.
But, like, it's a huge difference. And it's because I had full responsibility of my life at that time frame. Like, I didn't have a job that, like, I was happy with. I didn't have, like, a home life, or I don't want to say I didn't have a home life that I was happy with, but I was so consumed with all of the depression and all the anxiety and all the problems that I wasn't able to actually enjoy the stuff that we did have. Which is why now I have the same troubles, we have the same anxieties, we have the same depression, but I'm happier because I get to spend time. I wake up at 6:30 every morning and the first thing I do is get my girls ready for school.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Don't care. Have a ton of debt. Have the same amount of debt that I did since 2 years ago. If anything, might have a little bit more.
We have a little bit less, actually.
A little bit less.
I manage your money.
Career, a career that might have looked kind of stagnant to other people. I get to wake up in the morning and I take care of my girls. I get to come home to a dinner with my wife.
I think also
that's cool.
I won't dive too much into you, but I think also with your change in mindset is because you had some time recently to really reflect on what you were then versus now, and not just 27, but let's look back nearly 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when we were first getting ready for Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Find out we were pregnant. 2 weeks after we found out I was pregnant, you got the call you were getting deployed. You missed the first 3 years of her life. You got some visitations, obviously, because like we made it work to where I was going to you, you were coming to me.
Yeah, saying visitations makes it seem like I was in jail.
Oh God, I didn't mean it like that, but no, but like, most people didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Especially with being deployed, but we pulled every string that we could, and we made it to where Zoe always knew who Daddy was. And while you missed some milestones, it was okay because you came back home, you grinded really hard on work, but then you were rebuilding and rebuilding, and now we have baby number 2 years later.
Yeah.
And you're getting to experience what you missed out while still experiencing everything with our 7, soon to be 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So you have more time to sit back and look around. Oh God, I feel like such a hypocrite. But you have more time to really bask in all the good things now. And you did miss a
Yeah.
lot, but you're making up for lost time.
So I like what you're saying. Slight caveat.
Oh?
I think that I have changed a ton from back then.
Oh yes.
And
Hello,
I think
360? No, not 360. That's a circle. 180.
but yeah, definitely big changes, definitely a difference in raising them and stuff like that. I don't think I was a good dad until like this year. And the reason,
Really?
yeah, and the reason
Aw.
is because of the mindset. And I truly think that based off of I always said that family was like my priority, like I cared about you guys the most, but all of my time was on my career. And not until recently that I made the connection that priorities mean that you're putting time towards that thing.
Mhm.
And that's the change that I had this year that made that change in vision. And
Why
that's
did
why
you why did that change? Was it because I said that I couldn't follow my career because we have a family?
no. It was because when I was 27, I was the CEO of 2 companies and a general manager of a Domino's.
Mhm.
And
You were very busy.
I was working all the time and really not getting anywhere. It was like a duck who was like paddling water. Like I like underneath, I was just kicking a ton, and then the top I was just
Oh
like
wow.
cruising slowly.
That's a really good scenario you just painted. That is
Yeah, and then the top is
yeah.
just cruising slowly, barely moving, but underneath the water just kick 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 kick.
Mhm.
And I realized like 2 years have passed. We've made change, like, what I'm saying, like things have improved, but there's always going to be improvement. Like there's always going to be room for improvement. I never want to be stagnant, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I think that this year I've made the realization that I can still have that and enjoy what I currently have, which before I couldn't do. I always viewed it like a finish line.
Oh.
And it wasn't until this year, or I would say 2 years ago, that I stopped viewing things. Actually, no, this year, because Omni HR hit 2 years, and that also helped me see like this is a
You've
time
grown.
frame. This is a time commitment. I haven't given up on it,
Mhm.
and this is what it's like. Like, this is the entrepreneurship. This is what being a father is like. It's not a finish
This
line.
is what the struggle looks like.
Yeah. And like
Hmm.
being a dad, it's not a finish line. It's a continuous race until I die. And making that change in my perspective changed everything. Like that, like genuinely changed how I view the entire world. Because, and you know what? It was writing the book. It was working on the book that I'm working on now. It really gave me the chance to sit down. Like, what do I think? Like,
Hmm.
what do I actually believe in? I've been on this earth for 29 years. Who am I? Which is a really crazy thing to say. And we are way off base on the recruiting aspect that we were supposed to be on.
No, we were on job hunting. That's the topic.
Anyways, big changes there. And it really came down to like just thinking like who am I? And like what exactly am I happy
Well,
about?
I don't think that's too far off topic. And I won't get into another subcategory because, we are rounding onto a 2-hour mark. But the reason why I say it's not too far off is because you have to know who you are when you're doing like these roles.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you
No,
don't.
no, no, no. Let me. Not every role, okay?
No, none.
Because
None.
like if I was to step back in McDonald's or Domino's or anything that is store based, minor level, I don't really need to know who Becca
You
is.
could be a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company and still not know who you are. Just like
That's
here's
wild.
here's the thing. Everyone is just people. Like I don't know
Yo,
like
what does that
it
even
was
mean?
so it really comes down which is it's really really weird and it really is a change in perception. But like those superstars that you watch on TV, like those people that you think are the true one percenters, the people that control the earth, the president of the United States, like those are people just like you. Like they are not special. The only difference between you and them is what they put their time on. That's it. Like that is it. And that is a limiting belief, which we'll
I
have
didn't
an
say
entire
anybody was
podcast.
special.
Huh?
I didn't say anybody was
No, but
special.
they don't have to know each other. Like, they don't have to know themselves. They just have to care about what they care
Wouldn't
about
you
and pursue
wouldn't
it.
you have to know who you are to know what you want to do in life, to know
No.
what you want to be
No, you
specific
just
at?
do it. You live your entire life. You live as a kid. You don't know what you're doing. You just do it. Same as an adult.
No, I'm looking
How
at
many
adults.
parents
I feel like kids get a
that
pass,
that's fair, but how many parents do we see who don't know what they're doing, but they're still doing it? Everyone.
I don't
Like
know.
parents do. I mean, our parents did it. When they raised us, they didn't know what they were doing. They were reading books. If they
I'm
were
so
doing that,
sorry by our parents because he just flat out be like, you don't know what you're
well,
doing.
no, because that's how it is. Every parent is like that. You can read a billion books, but until you have that baby in front of you, you don't know how to change a diaper, right? I could read a billion books.
I knew how to change a diaper before I had a toy.
Okay, because of why? Because you've done it before. Because you had to physically go through doing it.
Yeah,
Okay, so then it's
and
your own
I read
experience.
books.
But it's not you saying, I'm a mother, hence I now have all of this knowledge. It's
Well,
your
that's
life
that's also
experience.
debatable per science. The whole mother's instinct actually does kick in,
Okay,
but
that's
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 all like
fine. But even then, that's not like the more
you're
intricate.
looking at it at a very statistical format.
Well, no, I'm
I'm
looking at it.
looking at it as a more mind to universe spiritual type of thing. Like, in my opinion, you do need to know who you are to be successful at something that you genuinely want to do in life.
And I disagree because this is just like the feelings.
What?
Here's the
Your
thing.
feelings don't
Well,
matter.
here's the thing is that if I know who I am as a person, right? I
Hmm.
know who I am, and then I don't do anything about it, then it doesn't matter. Just like if I'm someone who has no idea who I am, I don't know what I like, but I'm in the actions. I'm actually doing stuff to better myself, that person still gets farther ahead because they're doing the actions. Your feelings don't matter. You don't have to know who you
We
are.
need someone smarter and on a scientifical level to get in on this because I
No.
I don't have the brain power to muster. Um, but I feel like you're wrong.
Well, I mean, all right. So, all right.
And don't tell me my
We're
feelings
going.
don't matter.
We're going like this. All right. So, I'm gonna try to make this into a recruiting thing. Okay. So you are a person who knows yourself. I know that I really want to be a CEO or whatever. And so I do everything that I can to apply to position or no, I'm sorry. I don't apply to positions to be a CEO. Like I know that I should just be a CEO. Like my background, my mindset, I know who I am as a person. I want to be a CEO, but I
CEO
don't
of what?
do anything towards it. But I don't do anything towards it. And then you have someone else who does not have the same mindset. They just want to be better tomorrow than they were today. They don't really know, maybe they were an orphan, maybe their parents didn't lead them the right way. Maybe
Well,
they
if they were
are
an
just
orphan, they didn't
jumped
have parents.
into, I'm just using these as examples. Maybe they are just jumping into a random, career because an opportunity presents itself, but they work every day. Every day they work, they do a good job, they push in, and they move up in careers.
You know what's wild? I
Hmm.
still can't get over the fact that you said it doesn't matter who you are to get something done, and you done recruiting.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Becca, when I'm asking someone questions about like when it comes to like an interview, I'm asking more about their experience and how they would handle a situation than who they are individually. I don't care that your favorite color is
You and
blue.
I both know that who someone is severely impacts what they do on a day to day basis, including while they're working.
Yeah, but it's not knowing yourself. It's just doing the job
Yes,
at
it
a
is.
high
That's
level.
literally what most of those stupid ass assessments. There goes the curse word. There, those assessments are when you're doing your applications, and it's like, how would you handle this situation? And it's like, I would walk away, or I would find a manager to further assist
Okay.
me, or stuff like
So
that.
here's my question for you. When you say knowing yourself, what exactly does that mean?
Like if you know you're a people person, you're a leader, you're strategically thinking, you're gonna want a role that fits your traits.
But I knew those 2 years ago, and I did not have the same mindset I have today. I knew that I was a leader.
That's because you have your own personal problems.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying though, is that that's not knowing yourself.
Like
Like
I know that
I
I
know.
didn't
Okay,
want to
yeah.
be where I'm at now career wise. It's very far from what I originally wanted. You remember I wanted to be in the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to follow my career path as a vet while being in the Navy, potentially leading into
Veteran,
something
like a veterinarian.
veterinarian. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I should specify a veterinarian while being in the Navy, and that didn't happen. But in my opinion, I had all the traits and some background knowledge into going into that. It didn't work out. And now I'm in something that's completely different, still finding the way, but I think that my personality traits fits the bill for what I do in IT.
I mean, when you say personality traits fits the bill, can someone be good at IT if they don't like talking to people? Like
Yeah.
if they're okay, can someone be good in IT if they do like talking to people?
Mm,
Can
I
someone
don't
be
think
good?
so.
I
Well,
for sure
I think
because
it
they're the
depends
ones
on
that help
what
people.
is your role in IT, because there are some roles where,
No, no, no. You're going too deep. I'm just talking superficially. If I
well, that's the
if
point,
I
knowing who
like
you are and knowing what
well,
role you fit in
this is the
best.
thing though. Well, it's not knowing what role you fit in best. Anyone can do any role.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Anyone can do any role.
Based off of okay,
So no discrimination
other
here,
than
but you're telling
other
me
than like a
that
disability,
someone, nope, nope, you said anyone. You're
other than
telling
a
me that
disability
someone,
or a legitimate physical
bro,
stopping. And even then, if we want to go real granular, it
you
really
just told me not to
depends.
go too deep in the roles.
All right.
You
Let's
you're a
take a step
hypocrite.
back here. All right.
Hypocrisy.
So, I don't think your personality matters.
I think it
I
heavily
think what
matters.
it comes down to is just the
Would I want
actions.
a total, I'm trying so hard not to just use curse words as fillers, like not from anger, just like,
Mhm.
just try not to use them. But would I want a total Nimrod? Let's say, like, just ignorant, hates people, does not get along well with others, is educated, sure, but that's not a trait. Um, and do I want that type of person to be a teacher for elementary students?
So the way that
Yes, that's a yes or a no.
okay, the answer is no.
Why?
Well, actually, you know what? Let me ask you. Does he does he provide the curriculum?
Yes.
Does he actually talk to the students and does he do a good job presenting?
He treats the students very poorly.
Well, then I would fire him for a different reason.
Why?
Because he's not actually doing the job itself. He's not
He's doing
no no
he's
no
doing the
no no
job.
no no no. He's not doing the actions required because you just said he's treating the kids poorly. Those are actions. He is actively not listening to them. That is an action. He is actively not teaching them correctly. He is actively not providing the things.
He's
No, no,
teaching
no,
the
no, 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 no.
curriculum.
So
No,
here's the
he's
thing.
teaching the curriculum.
Here's the thing.
He's
It's
telling
still
them
the
what to do, but
actions.
he's yelling at them.
That's an action. That is an action. Anyone out there
So is
thinks that yelling
teaching.
is not an action? Correct. An action. Good job. These are actions.
And what leads to actions, Manny?
The things that you do.
With what?
Your words.
Our behaviors. And what contributes to our behaviors?
Which are actions.
What contributes to our behaviors?
So
Our
can
personal
can
traits.
people control themselves?
This is like arguing if water's wet or not.
No. Because it all comes down to the actions. Think about it, Becca. If I can have have a horrible mindset. A horrible mindset. I hate everyone. I don't want to do anything. But what are my actions? What am I doing though? Because remember, your mental.
Do you think that this conversation would mull over well with our 7-year-old?
That would be fun.
I don't think it would.
I have this conversation with her anyways.
So if she said to you, Daddy, I cleaned my room like you asked me to.
Okay.
But she caught attitude with you while talking.
That's an action. That's an action. That is an outward presence. It is not a mindset because she could have attitude in her head, but it's the way that she speaks. It's an action. Everything comes down to your action, just like your feelings. What you're saying right now is it's the same thing as feelings. Your mindset does not matter.
Behaviors contribute to actions.
You control your
100%.
actions. No, you control your actions. You control it. Like, it comes down to this. If I'm sleepy in the morning, but I know that I have a presentation, how am I going to act on the presentation? I'm sleepy. But guess what? I have to act animated. I have to engage with my eyes. I have to shake people's hands firmly. It's actions. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what your mind tells you.
So let's say
what matters is the outward actions that you engage in the world. Your physical body that you tell to do things. Those are the actions. Everything you're talking about are actions that someone is choosing to not do.
They're always going to be actions based off of behaviors.
No,
she's
incorrect.
absent-minded.
Okay. So when you say based off behaviors,
your traits.
that is actions.
Your traits.
No.
They're all based
Here's
off
the thing,
of what
though.
you
Here's the thing,
are
though.
and how you execute.
Do you remember that I used to call myself lazy? Do you remember that? I used to call myself lazy for years.
Yeah.
I was multiple deployed. I was doing my MBA. I literally was working
and I would
3
argue with
jobs
you that you're
at
not
once.
Lazy.
Correct, but I thought I was lazy. You ready? My mentality.
I think it's because a lot of people would tell you they're lazy just because of your weight.
Correct, but it doesn't matter.
No idea
whatever
what you were
the
doing.
past. But I thought I was lazy. But my actions were of someone who was doing something else. Right? It's the same thing. Your mentality and your mindset doesn't matter. What matters is what you put into the world.
Because there were some things that you were not 100% with.
Becca, if in your mind you wanted to kill 100 people, like your mind, I wish I could kill 100 people, but then you never kill anyone, are you a killer?
No.
Correct.
That's minority report.
Because no matter what in your mind says, it doesn't matter. Your behaviors, the traits, whatever you feel like you are in your mind, no one cares. And the world doesn't care because it doesn't exist until you put it out there. I could be an ignorant person. What does that mean? It means I don't learn, right? That's what that means. It's an action. It means that I actively am not learning anything.
But you're telling me that someone's traits does not make a difference for what role they should be in.
Yes, because it all comes down to the physical actions they do. Becca, if I get a lazy person...
Do you want a neurotic therapist?
What are the actions that they do? I want a good therapist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Any position just comes down to, are they able to do the actual role? Are they physically doing the actions
What
in
if
it?
what if they are doing everything to the key while they're doing their role? But outside of work, they get arrested for getting into a fight and stealing from a bank.
Then they're doing their job, and that's their personal life.
But you know as well as I do, HR professional, that what you do in your personal life will affect whether or not you have a job to return to.
Correct. Just like how it's your right to do your job, it is also the company's right to protect themselves, their assets, and their other
I
companies.
don't understand
It's still based
how
off
you
the
still
actions.
disagree. It is
Well, I mean, it literally comes down, like, everything that you're talking about is actions. Like, that's what it is. Like I said, if someone is known, I'm always tired. Always tired. I am a tired person.
I'm always upset.
Okay, great. The actions of those are, I feel sleepy, I yawn a lot. That's it. Does me being tired all the time, does that stop me from being a leader, from being a father,
Sometimes.
from being whatever? No, it doesn't. I don't let it. I drink coffee. I do whatever. Tell me that I don't take the actions
You've done
anyways.
really well lately, but if you want me to just,
Well, I'm talking about, I
you
already
know,
said that my mindset has changed. So I'm
yes.
talking about right now, right? Because the actions
You said, have
are
I
what matter.
ever?
Okay. I'm talking about
Yeah,
my
you gotta
current
use your
mindset.
words better.
It
Your
all
actions are
comes
not
down,
very well right now.
it all comes down to the actions. You can be a happy person and work at a morgue. You can be a depressed person and be a customer service rep. If the happy person is quiet, if they are respectful, what does
But you
respectful
just
mean?
described
If they,
people that will make, because the morgue one doesn't really make a difference, like that they're dead.
well, no,
But
that's not true, because they would have to deal with dead people. They have to also take care of actually dealing with other people and dealing with the stress they have. Just like how a doctor, when someone
a
dies on their
mortician
surgical
doesn't
table.
usually deal with the family members. That's up to the I forgot what
I'm
their
just using
title
this as an
is.
example, Becca. But yes, this is something like that. It
But your
doesn't matter
example
how
was
you
bad.
feel. Okay. It doesn't matter how you feel.
Yes, it
What
does.
matters is
But it's not
what
it's
you
not just about
actually
feelings,
do.
it's also about your actual personality traits. That's why
It
they have
doesn't
us take
matter.
these tests, Manny. That's why they have
No,
to
that's
take us
not.
as these
First off, the
assessments.
way that you would handle something, I don't even like thinking of that as a personality test, because it's literally just, what actions would you
They
take?
are
It's an action
That's
test.
why I passed my googliness.
That's fine. Googliness is about
Like there wasn't a written
how
one.
you
It's
are. Like,
simply
what are you talking
talking
about?
to someone.
That's fine. That doesn't change anything. Like,
But that's
that
what
doesn't.
that's what people are looking for. Who you are, not
Becca,
just what you
okay,
know
okay. Here's my
matters.
question. What what is it that helped you pass the googliness? If you would have answered the same exact way, but physically your actions were, you were laying down, you were looking zoned out, and you answered the same exact questions, but your entire body, your actions that you were putting out there was monotone, and you just like zoned and you didn't care. The answers were the exact same. Nothing changes except for your physicality. Do you think that would have been a difference?
Maybe
It definitely would have been a difference.
because they
It
ask you
definitely
the
would have been a
scenario
difference.
based questions, but
That's, yeah.
they're in person. They're
It
not
is,
written.
exactly. And that's why it's a difference, because your actions, you could have lied about all of the answers, but you were there. You were
I was very
energized.
honest.
You were
A little too
positive.
honest.
You were speaking to them. You were making eye
I was
contact.
bluntly honest.
You, you were making eye contact. You were laughing. You were engaging with them. You were sitting up straight. You were speaking confidently. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at the actions of what you're doing and who you are, more than what you think your
I
personality
have a
is.
question too, but I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're way past time.
I know we're way past time. We're usually only an hour long.
Yep. But we can talk more about this later. So, recruiting, all the fun. It's tough. It's hard. And like I said, it really comes down to the actions that you do. Like, it comes down, when it comes to recruiting, you know
We're
it's
not
going to be
just talking
hard.
about recruiting.
No, I know,
It's
but
job
like,
hunting.
job hunting, applying to different places, like, it's hard. Like, applying to different places, getting rejected, it's hard. It sucks. And I want you to know it's okay. Just put in the work. And what I mean by that is if you're doing one thing and it's been 4 months and you're still not getting any results, then you need to change what you're doing. And if you don't know what the next step is,
Oof.
that's just a knowledge
4 months without a
deficiency.
job. Ugh.
Well, it might not be 4 months without a job. It might be,
No,
yeah,
I'm just
sometimes.
having the mindset of like how hard that would look.
Yeah.
You know?
But it really just comes down to the fact that it's just actions. Do you know what to do? Do you know the next step? If not, then it's a knowledge deficiency. What do I do? If you don't know how to network, then it's a knowledge thing. If you're applying to jobs and you're waiting and you're not sure what the next step is, it's a knowledge thing. And then from there, it's an actions thing. Am I doing the right things? Am
I
I
still
reaching
don't
out to the
agree with
recruiter?
him.
So, all right, we're not going to keep going.
No,
It's
no.
okay to
we're
disagree.
just
It's
yes,
okay.
there you go.
So, are you actually sending out emails? Are you using LinkedIn? Are you calling? Are you actually like
Are you
phoning
putting
in?
100% in?
You can't say 100% because they might think they are because they don't
Oh,
know what
that's a
the
good
rest is
point.
because the actions are what matters.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
right. If you stuck with us this long, I truly appreciate it. If you like the content, please rate the show. And if you're feeling a little crazy, maybe share it with someone.